Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm waiting for the other people to get in.
Okay. Make sure I can hear everything. There we go. How was Florida?
Oh, I'm not in Florida right. Well, my heart is in Florida. I'm currently in Louisville.
Okay.
So, Louisville, Kentucky.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Lydia.
All right.
How y'all doing?
Hello.
Hi. Hello, how are you? I mean, I gotta admit, so many people.
Oh, am I? Oh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to hear.
Hello. Oh, let me.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Let me.
This.
How many people in the waiting room? Maybe I shouldn't have. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hold on.
Hi.
Hey, y'all.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, hey. Hello. I mean,
Hello.
weird thing.
Oh.
How's everybody doing?
Great, thank you.
Good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Here we go.
So,
Oh.
let me. Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, niece.
Hi. Hi, Auntie.
Okay, let me go to. Let me share the screen. I sent everybody the script, but I feel like I need to share the screen just in case somebody wants to read it or somebody in here wants to read it. So. Okay. Okay, Kelsey, whenever you're ready.
Okay, before we start, how many characters am I reading for?
You're reading for the district attorney and, oh, I forgot, your active friend. Is your active friend here?
No, he's not with me. He couldn't make it.
Okay, so you're reading for the district attorney and Brandon.
Brandon, okay.
Okay. Let me see if I can scroll. Can you scroll up? Oh, I can scroll up that way. Okay, Kelsey. Can you read it? Okay. I'm sorry, are you on mute?
Oh, sorry. I don't know how I got muted. That was weird.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Old decaying church. Night.
Okay.
Lit candles. Nude female Krista statue at the altar. It's intact. We hear the doors close. Meet Eloise Colleen Parrish, 30s, black, piercing eyes, flawless skin like a porcelain doll, curly hair. A symbol is on
Sorry
her.
to. Hello.
Yes.
Are we starting now?
Yes, I'm sorry, we are starting now.
Okay, but I'm not seeing Nabi on here.
Oh.
What did we, what role would be, well, I'm not sure what role. Would it be Frank or something like that?
It would be Frank.
Frank.
I'm starting off. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out what's going on because he is ready for 8:30, but I'm not seeing him logged in as yet. So I'm trying to find out what's going on.
Okay.
If he's having some difficulty or anything. Because I don't want then we start and then, you know, we're
Right.
wondering
Then he
why
comes.
someone is
Right.
not coming in on their part.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Okay.
Okay. Can you call him?
Yeah, I was about to do that. Is it possible to
Okay.
still be logged into the Zoom and make the call, or do I have to like log out to make that call and log back in?
Are you using your phone?
Yeah, I am.
Oh,
All right. I think I'll have to log out and then, all right.
okay.
My apologies.
That's all right. At least we're here. Finally. So,
Yeah, I know. Let me just, okay, 1 minute. Let me just get over here.
okay. Hi,
Nice.
Mika.
Hey, Mama, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, baby.
Nice to finally meet you, Ray.
Oh, nice to finally meet you too, Rodney.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming. Thanks for
Hey.
being available.
Hey, it's my pleasure. That's contagious.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah.
No.
Okay, there he is, but I'm still waiting on the one who's going to read for Logan. Greg, he's not on here yet.
I think that's me, right?
Oh, you
I'm very-
are?
I'm on here. I am present.
All right,
Okay.
Ray, I'm back. And I believe Nabi should be on here by now. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. Hi, Nobby.
Not sure.
Okay, is Nobby on here? Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing his
Everyone
video
hear me?
engaged.
Hey.
Can you hear me now, V?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, are we ready? Okay. Okay,
Yes,
Kelsey?
I'm ready.
Kelsey?
Would you like me to start from the beginning?
Yes.
Okay.
You going to give us any type of setup, or are we just going to go through this?
I'll just go through it, I guess. Can you read the episode 1?
Episode
the cover
1?
page. Can you read the cover page too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How you gonna put it back on the screen, Ray?
Oh, yes, I am.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Whenever you guys are ready, I'll start.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We're ready. Well, whenever, yeah.
Okay.
ahead.
All Saints, Episode 1 by Ray Brown. Old decaying church, night. Lit candles, nude female Christa statue on the altar. It's intact. We hear the door close. Meet Eloise Colleen Parrish, 30s, black, piercing eyes, flawless skin like a porcelain doll, curly hair. A symbol is on her wrist. It looks burnt on. Angular, sinister, the mark of the cult. A trail of liquid follows her. We don't know what it is yet. She dips her fingers in the holy water stoop. The holy water drips from her fingers onto the trail. She crosses herself, looks up at the statue. She stares, transfixed, mesmerized.
Why was I born? Why did you create me?
She eyes the crown of thorns.
What do you want from me?
A hot tear falls from her eye.
I don't believe in you, but you still believe in me. I just want it to stop.
She pauses.
No one has ever killed their surrogate before. In order for me to be free, to break the cycle, thought it would be easy.
She smiles bitterly.
A part of Eloise is with me. I miss my real mother.
She looks down.
All I ever wanted was to be normal.
She touches her pregnant belly and smiles.
I can't let her ruin this for me. This is all I've ever wanted.
She looks at the statue as if expecting an answer.
I have to stop it.
We see the empty gasoline can in her left hand. Pulling out a Zippo lighter, she tosses it in the middle of the church. Watching the flames expand, looks at it as a ritual of some sort. She's transfixed again, frozen even. Time seems to stand still. She becomes engulfed, immersed. She turns her head.
She can't control us anymore.
She closes her eyes. Suddenly, a blanket is over her face. Victorian house, Eloise's bedroom, dark, present day. Eloise, 14, black, piercing eyes, wakes up. Her eyes bulge out. Unable to blink. She takes several breaths. It comes out shallow and raspy. She gets out of bed and walks to the hallway, continuous. As she feels the carpet beneath her feet, her breathing goes back to normal. She walks to the room across from hers. The door is cracked. Elios, black, 40s, is sound asleep. Eloise pushes the door wide open, enters. Master bedroom, continuous. She approaches the bed, stands over her. Elios and Eloise
I'm
trade.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's Heloise.
Heloise? Okay.
Yeah.
Heloise.
What?
Hey, may I ask a quick question? Is this another version of the script than what you've sent? Because my script doesn't match this at all.
I thought I sent it to you. I'm sorry, Gordon.
You didn't send me the latest. No. So there's another version you sent to me?
Yes, I thought I sent it to you, but
No.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
I'll just read off the screen. That's okay.
Okay.
After a beat, you said Heloise?
Yes.
After a beat, Heloise pulls back the covers. Eloise gets in, lays her head on her chest, clings to her like a security blanket. The corners of her mouth slowly form a smile. Heloise wraps her arms around her, strokes her hair as she hums her back to sleep. She bends down to kiss her on the forehead, but suddenly stops, pulls away from her, and stares at her.
You're not strong enough for this, but you will be. You hear me? You will succeed where Bella failed. I'm counting on it.
Frank's house, bedroom, right after. Ceiling fan, smartphone on the nightstand. Franklin Medina, black, 40s, wavy hair, is sound asleep, hanging off one side of the bed. Much later, morning. He's sprawled across the bed, and we see his beard and mustache. An alarm sounds off. He reaches over, swipes left to disable it. Fantasy. A middle-aged Latina is laying on his chest. She finally looks up. He kisses her on the forehead, then her lips. Frank considers her for a moment. He caresses her face, tracing every curve. She kisses his hand. The cult tattoo is on her wrist. He takes a closer look and she pulls away. Bella.
Daddy, don't be mad.
Frank considers her for a moment. Her angelic face. She doesn't look mixed, but she is mixed, adopted even.
We just want to be closer to you.
She turns her wrist over, revealing the same cult tattoo. He stares at it for a beat. It calls out to him. Back to scene. He opens his eyes. After a beat, he gets up, enters the bathroom, continuous. He undresses and we see a 1-foot cross tattoo on his left pec. He gets in the shower and lets the water wash over him. Frank's bedroom, right after. There are no pictures on the wall, nor memories to speak of. He nervously ties his tie, studies his reflection in the full-length mirror. Bella, 16, biracial, is looking back at him. She wants to say something but doesn't. She watches him leave. Victorian house, kitchen, right after. Eloise eats her breakfast. Heloise pours herself a cup of coffee. Sits opposite of her. They share knowing looks.
What happened last night?
She considers her for a moment.
You don't remember?
Silence.
You had a bad dream.
Eloise considers her for a moment. She stops eating, looks at her bare arm. No cult tattoo. No burns either. She slowly starts to remember.
It was real.
It's a gift.
Eloise considers her for a moment.
I'm scared.
Eloise touches her hand.
I miss my father.
She sips her coffee.
He didn't want us.
Eloise considers her for a moment.
He wanted me.
Eloise considers her for a moment.
You're still under my care. Your mother has plans for you. We're not even close to being finished.
Eloise presses her lips together in a slight grimace.
What if he comes back?
Eloise raises an eyebrow, looks at her like a science experiment.
I've given you everything you could ever want.
Eloise considers her for a moment.
Except a normal life.
Eloise considers her for a moment.
Your life belongs to God. It's up to her to decide how it should be spent.
What's in it for you?
To be a part of something greater than myself. That's why anybody does anything.
Police station, right after. Frank walks past a few officers. 2 of them offer their condolences. The last one is in shock. He ignores them, enters. Office, continuous. Various pictures adorn the shelf. He approaches his desk. Eyes the Lieutenant Frank Medina nameplate. We finally see who's in these photos. They're of him and Bella. He picks up the last one, strokes her face. Beat.
When I gave you some time off, I didn't mean that shit literally.
He turns to see Haskell, black, late 40s, beady eyes, standing in the doorway.
It's only been 4 weeks since Isabella.
Frank considers him for a moment.
Give yourself some time to grieve. She would want that.
What do you want me to do? Stay home, draw a bath and hope Colgan takes me away? Go to the Virgin Islands and sit butt naked on a beach?
He pauses.
I'm right where I need to be. She knows that, and so do you.
Haskell considers him for a moment.
I can't change your mind, can I? Hard-headed ass.
Pascal hands him a card.
Consider it a favor.
Frank reads the card.
Thanks. No thanks.
It's not up for discussion. Someone has to look out for you.
Victorian house, Eloise's bedroom, right after. A little girl's room. It pales in comparison to what a normal little girl's room would look like. A mule of a unicorn on the right side of the wall. The left is covered with markings, unusual, cryptic even. Eloise observes the view from her window. The sunlight settles on her face as she zeroes in on a neighborhood boy. She studies him, mesmerized, transfixed. Fantasy. We're in a suburban neighborhood, a block away from Eloise's house. Christian, black, 18, scrawny, rides his bike in circles, faster and faster. He slams his foot on the brakes before he loses control. His heart races for a beat. He feels someone is watching him. He turns to see Eloise. Christian.
Okay, no one's here to play Christian, be for Christian. I had somebody, but he's got another meeting. Gordon, could you?
What, excuse me, what age group are you looking for to play Kristen? Because I know someone. Not sure if you need that person.
18.
Nah, the person I know, they're like in their 20s.
I know someone, if you, for this to go later, if you want me to get someone, I can.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead. Hi.
All right. He considers her for a moment. Silence. Eloise glimpses at something, a deep bruise on his arm, fresh. He covers up the bruise with his sleeve, embarrassed.
What's wrong with you?
He pauses.
I've never seen you leave the house unless it's with your mother.
She slightly narrows her eyes.
Eloise isn't my mother. We don't even look alike.
He has a stupid look on his face.
I envy you.
Why?
You have a real family.
You don't know what you're saying.
No one expects anything from you.
Fuck you.
I meant it as a compliment.
He considers her for a moment.
What did they expect from you?
To rid the world of evil.
He cracks a smile, laughs.
Do you believe in God?
There is no God. Not really. We're just waiting for someone else to pull the strings.
She considers him for a moment.
You know, it's not love, right?
He pauses.
Abuse is not love.
What would you know about it?
Awkward silence.
You deserve to be free, even if it's for a moment.
He holds out his hand. She stares at it. Then the bike. She takes his hand. Bike, traveling. Christian pedals while Eloise rides saddle. The wind whips through her hair. She smiles, tilts her head back, turns her face to the sky. Eyes the sunshine peering through the clouds. A surge of adrenaline courses through her body. She feels alive. Suddenly, she frowns.
This isn't real.
This is what you wanted. The question is, do you want to know the real me?
I can't.
Eloise? Eloise?
Back to scene. Eloise is still staring out the window. Eloise scrutinizes her.
You're supposed to be studying.
She ignores her. As Eloise glimpses at the workbooks on the bed, Christian looks up at her for a beat.
Should I board up the windows or called myself being nice?
Eloise
I called
considers-
myself being nice.
Eloise considers her for a moment.
Why can't I go to school like the rest of them?
Eloise brushes the hair away from her face.
Because you're not like the rest of them. You don't know what's best. If you did, you would raise yourself.
As she returns to the window, Eloise grabs her chin.
There's a reason for everything. We must obey her plan for our life. We are all, what is this? We are all we're all created for a special purpose.
Eloise glimpses at the markings on the wall. They're all capitalized, but one in particular stands out. She stares at it closely. It says, "The chosen ones are marked to bring an end to everything before there can be a beginning."
Okay.
All right. All Saints, Episode 2 by Array Brown. Old Church, later. Is that Alina?
Yes, Elena.
Elena. Elena, the parish, black, 60, in a cassock, performs communion. We see the congregation in line as each one steps forward. Heloise and Eloise are last. Heloise watches the parish tower over them, like a god. She wants to be the next in line to lead. She wants the power. After a beat, Heloise steps forward.
The body of Christa.
Eloise accepts the wafer. Eloise steps forward.
The body of Christa.
Parrish and the rest of the members stare. Among them is Frank. Underneath his jacket is a Glock. He keeps his eyes on Elena. Eloise swallows it. Christian watches from a distance. Eloise counts the members. Eyes Frank. He scratches his beard.
It's almost time. Your loyalty will be rewarded.
Frank studies the scene from a distance. Far from the altar, he sees someone he recognizes. A man in the front row. He only sees the back of his head. He turns and we see his eyes, deep as pools. Later, Eloise stares at the naked female Christo statue, the same one from her dream. Something about it calls to her. She closes her eyes, prays. Christian continues to watch her, intrigued. After a beat, she opens her eyes. Fantasy. She's still frozen, eyes Krista's tears. It's real blood. The blood turns black, looks gooey and sticky, streams down her face. Eloise doesn't know what to do. She's powerless but can't turn away. Back to scene. Suddenly, she feels a hard nudge, runs out of the church. The members can't help but take notice. Heloise furrows her brow.
Is she okay?
Elena considers her for a moment.
Does she look okay?
Elena starts to go after her.
Let her go. It'll give us a chance to talk.
Elena smirks.
Being a part of this faction doesn't make us friends or sisters. We're merely business associates. I chose you because of your inability to have children.
She pauses.
My husband always had a flair for what didn't belong to him.
Heloise considers her for a moment.
He loved this church just as much as my ancestors. Now he's a part of it just like they are.
Did the others?
Elena considers her for a moment.
There was no one before him. I made the mistake of thinking we were equally yoked.
Elena changes the subject.
How is my daughter?
She had a dream. I think it has to do with a prophecy.
Did she talk to you about it?
She didn't remember what happened until later. Something scared her.
They're all scared before they commit to their calling. A child is only as weak or as strong as her surrogate.
No one can stop what's coming.
Elena smiles.
I know what you want.
She caresses her face. After a beat, her smile becomes bitter.
I can't give it to you. Power is a strong aphrodisiac, but everyone has their place. Only my children will lead.
Eloise purses her lips.
And you will still be barren. Even if you adopt, they will be surrogates, even to my children's children. That is your lineage.
Heloise studies her. She dislikes her but respects her. Old church, day. Eloise is sitting on the steps, staring into space. Christian watches from the top. Still intrigued, she turns her head and he hides. Frank sits on the opposite end. He turns to look at Eloise.
Tommy?
Yeah, hold on. I was on the viewing screen of everyone. Hi.
She considers him for a moment, won't meet his gaze.
I thought I was alone.
In a place like this,
She ignores him. He considers her for a moment.
I'm outside.
you don't have to talk to me, but I'm obligated to stay here until you do.
She doesn't budge.
Why?
She still won't meet his gaze. He considers her for a moment.
I'm sworn to protect and serve, and I saw what happened back there. Looks like you can use a bit of both.
She considers him for a moment.
I don't know you.
I have to know you to be nice to you?
She considers him for a moment.
You're the first. Maybe you're one of the good ones.
I'm not. What's your name?
She considers him for a moment.
Eloise.
He considers her for a moment.
You don't look like an Eloise.
She finally meets his gaze.
What do I look like?
An individual.
He sizes him up.
You don't look like a cop.
I always wanted to be a dancer.
The corners of her mouth slowly form a smile. Her eyes go directly to the butt of his Glock.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Only people that don't deserve to live.
She considers him for a moment.
We're the same.
He considers her for a moment.
We're not the same.
She doesn't believe him.
Do you believe in God?
My wife and daughter did. This was their place of worship. I didn't see it then, but I see it now.
She considers him for a moment.
How did they die?
Frank considers her for a moment.
Unfortunate circumstances.
Do you think there's a heaven and a hell?
I think light can't exist without darkness.
Do you think you'll ever see her again?
I hope so.
Scarcity. Later. I'm sorry, scarcity. Jeez. Sacristy. Later. Krista laying on a black crucifix on the wall. An L-shaped desk. A cabinet filled with candles and sacred cups. Nothing is out of place. Looks very neat and ominous. Elena hangs up the clergy robe, removes the necklace, eyes the statue.
We've only just begun.
She closes her eyes in praise. Suddenly, we see the barrel of a Glock 19. It's pointed at the back of her head. Click. It's
Couldn't
cocked.
stay away. We had a deal.
Frank applies pressure.
You still owe me.
I don't owe you anything.
You used her against me.
Isabella broke the rules made by the first elder and other generations before her. Your firstborn paid a high price for her incompetence.
More pressure. He considers her for a moment.
So you think you can play God?
Rules were made to follow. You should know that. You can't kill all of us.
Just you for now.
Bang. He pulls the trigger. Later. Frank gets sucked back into reality. He's still holding the Glock. Vengeance and pain are in his eyes. He means business. His hands remain steady.
Be thankful your son is still alive.
As he starts to squeeze the trigger, he feels a tug on his left hand. We see Bella take his hand.
Bella?
Mika?
I was reading on mute. I apologize. No, Daddy.
He turns to look at her. He can't believe his eyes.
I'm still real to you. I never left.
His heart pounds in his ears. She touches his heart. It slows down to a normal pace.
You don't have to do this. She'll die, but not by your hand.
He doesn't budge.
I forgive you for what you did to her. Now, you just need to forgive yourself.
Tears fall from his eyes. After a beat, he lowers the gun.
My sisters still need you alive.
He considers her for a moment. Old church, lower level, dark. Lit candles are all around. Eloise stands before the parish. The cult members watch the ceremony. Among them is her uncle, Logan, late 30s, white, tall.
Do you accept God as your savior?
Yes,
Do you believe you are in the mother and that the mother is in you?
I do.
Will you dedicate yourself to her completely?
She fidgets, scans the crowd for a beat.
Answer me.
She considers her for a moment.
I will.
Eloise glimpses at the branding iron, eyes the symbol. Parish brands her, the mark of the cult. She stares at it. Eloise and Heloise share knowing looks. The cult members stare, gather around her. Eloise's room, day. The door is cracked. Eloise admires herself in the mirror, slowly brushes her hair. It's quiet, peaceful even. She hums, listens to the sound of every stroke. It's her happy place, her safe place. Suddenly the door closes. Leather soles clank sharply in the distance. Her heart pounds in her ears. The noise gets louder. Gulp. She puts the brush down, sees a face in the mirror. Logan. He studies her, marvels even.
Why did you stop?
She won't meet his gaze. She's still frozen.
You don't like me, do you?
Ugly pause.
What do you want me to say?
He considers her for a moment.
Tell me what I want to hear.
She still won't meet his gaze.
Who's going to love you more than me?
He looks at her hungrily. Uncomfortable, she digs her fingernails in the chair.
Look at you. So beautiful.
He slowly caresses her face.
Just like your mother. Only I like you more.
She continues to dig. He leans in. As he rests his hand on her shoulder, she winces.
You always hurt the ones you love.
Silence.
You're so special to me.
He kisses her hand. We see her nails. They're bleeding. Later, Eloise is watching her favorite show, eyes glued to the screen. She observes the main character. She mimics her, then laughs. The corners of her mouth form a smile. Another one of her happy places. Suddenly, she hears a car door slam. It's not coming from the TV. She looks out the window, sees Christian sitting in a parked car. Tears fall from his face. She glimpses at something above his eye, a fresh cut. She watches a rugged man walk toward the neighboring house. Christian follows. He meets her gaze. A tear trickles down her face. She looks up at the night sky. Community center, right after. A group of men and women are gathered in a circle. Frank sits on the far end, observes, plays with his wedding band. This is his first group therapy session.
Today is especially hard for me, as most of you already know. Terry would have been 23. He would be in college, on his way to getting his master's. It was important to him. He would have had the chance to fall in love. He would have started making his mark on the world.
I'm sorry. Scott, 40s, white, clean, shaven head, 4 eyes, hands her a Kleenex. His vintage eyeglasses and rocker casual attire makes him look electric. I'm sorry. Eclectic.
All good. It's all
He
good.
focuses on her.
Yeah, it's good.
The officer has been arrested, but an arrest is not a conviction. He could get out on bail.
Does that terrify you?
Frank listens intently.
It keeps me up at night. I even have to resort to taking sedatives to help me sleep.
She pauses.
This system was never designed to protect people like us.
She turns to Frank, then 5 other Black people. Scott considers her for a moment.
If Officer Hellick was here right now, what would you tell him?
She takes a deep breath.
Who the hell do you think you are? You had no right to take my son from me. You're so scared of us, you can't stand it. Terry was a good kid, smart, kind, resilient, brave. You think we're different, but we're not. We bleed the same.
A tear falls from her eye.
I forgive you. Sounds crazy, forgiving a white man who only protects and serves when it's convenient. I will continue to fight for him, for others like me who fear burying their child instead of celebrating their future.
Thank you, Danita.
He addresses the circle.
The link to the petition, as well as the numbers to the Attorney General and other federal officials, can be found on my Instagram page.
Frank takes out his cell, opens the Instagram app. Scott's page is riddled with affirmations and Q&A questions. He clicks on the link. It redirects him to his website.
What about you?
Scott checks
Frank?
his name tag. Frank.
Tell us your story.
All eyes are on Frank.
I lost my wife weeks ago.
The circle listens intently.
I see her in my dreams. I think about her all the time. I'm thinking about her right now.
He pauses.
Her sickness continued to spread. You never know what anyone is capable of or incapable of. Yesterday, I ended my leave. I need a distraction. I need to feel useful.
More.
To be a part of something bigger than myself again. That's why anybody does anything, right? To change things one step at a time.
Janetta glimpses at the wedding band on his ring finger.
Souls need to be saved.
He gulps.
Especially mine.
Let me get the.
Hold on one moment. Ina is trying to join.
Okay.
Can you guys see me?
Yeah, I can't see Ina though.
Okay, let me see. Hold on one moment. All right. Do you have like an invite code? Yeah.
Meeting ID code, yeah, I do.
2 seconds. Hold on one moment.
It's
I'm just gonna do this.
Saints.
I wanna put the ID 892-9474-1157. And the password is capital A, capital S, Aints.
Capital A, capital S.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the rest?
The meeting ID?
Oh, no, the password.
No, that was it.
Oh.
A, capital S, and Aints. You know, all Saints. Yeah.
All right. Until she joins, I'll just continue reading.
Okay. No.
All Saints, Episode 3, by Array Brown. Community Center, later. Frank helps Scott put away the chair. Thanks for coming. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine. All right, Kelsey, you're doing good. All right. All right. Thanks for coming. We meet twice a week. I hope to see you again.
Frank considers him for a moment.
Yeah, people come in, see what it's about. They don't come back.
I don't have a choice. I'm not sure I buy into all this.
Scott smirks.
Everyone needs help. Nobody checks on the strong people.
That part.
Scott goes back to stacking the chairs.
How do you feel about going back to work?
Scott considers him for a moment.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just on autopilot.
Frank stacks the last chair.
Maybe we all are.
Frank exits. Community Center, continuous. Danetta talks to two people from the group. They say goodbye and part ways. We see Frank walk to his car. He sticks the key in the door.
Hey,
He turns to face her.
can I buy you a drink?
He considers her for a moment, stalls.
Consider it another therapy session. I want to put off going home as long as I can.
Frank considers her for a moment. Bar, right after. Danetta and Frank are laughing while they nurse their drinks. Danetta takes a sip.
How long have you been a cop?
How long have you hated them?
Oh, I come from a long line of haters.
He grins.
20 years.
She considers him for a moment.
You know, there's a small percentage of good cops left, but the rest are trash.
That part.
They clink their glasses together. He takes a swig.
I agree with what you said back there. We all need a distraction. Life is too damn hard.
She takes a swig.
Do you believe in a higher power?
Frank smirks. He thinks she's joking, but she's dead serious.
Not anymore.
She still believes in you.
We see a brand on her wrist, less intimidating than the cult tattoo. Vaguely the shape of an infinity symbol. He secretly takes a picture. Eloise's bedroom, night. Dark and foreboding. Logan's rugged face, beads of sweat form on his forehead. He looks at Eloise's tear-stained face. Her hand reaches underneath the pillow for something. A knife. Fantasy. She slits his throat, watches the life go out of his eyes. Blood is everywhere. Bittersweet. Back to scene. The knife is inches away from his throat. Her hand is trembling. Logan is clutching the other end. Blood trickles down his forearm. He's unfazed. They trade looks.
You don't know what you're doing.
Actually, I do.
She's still, frozen, powerless.
Then why did you hesitate?
She considers him for a moment.
I don't want you to die.
We're all dying, Ellie. This is your family. Blood is your legacy.
He takes his hand off the knife. There is a cut under his chin. Eloise lowers the knife.
Maybe Elena was wrong about you.
She averts her eyes. He leaves, and we see her in the fetal position. Living room. Later. Logan pours himself a stiff drink. Eloise watches, scrutinizes him.
Sit down already. You're burning a hole in my brain.
She ignores him, comes closer.
You promised.
I'm not the one who made a deal with the devil.
He takes a swig. Her eyes are like daggers in his back.
Am I not dying fast enough for you?
She takes a sip of his drink. Bathroom, later. Eloise wipes away the steam from the mirror, then stares at her reflection. The corners of her mouth slowly form a grimace. She screams, almost breaks the glass. She's ashamed. Living room, right after. Heloise is sitting, legs crossed, as Logan nurses his drink.
You're not her father.
No. Her father's 70 years old and 6 feet under.
There must be a sacrifice to fulfill the prophecy.
It's going to take longer than I thought.
The end of days is near.
Did Elena tell you to say that?
Mock me all you want. It's coming, and you know it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have agreed to this arrangement.
He takes another swig.
Have any sins to absolve yet?
He smirks.
Oh, sorry, I think I lost part of the. Let's see where. I think it skipped on me. Do I look like someone who would go to confession?
He slams the glass down. He sees Eloise at the top of the stairs. She heard it all. Street, later. Eloise treks through town, takes in her surroundings. The world spins around her. She's out of place and out of her element. There's a man behind her. He walks with purpose. She doesn't pay attention, but hears the sound of his leather soles. She glances over her shoulder. His face isn't fully visible. She continues walking, keeps straight ahead. She crosses the street. He follows her. Her heart skips a beat. She doesn't know whether to run or hide. As he turns into the alleyway, she turns to face him.
I'm not going back.
He keeps walking, pays no attention to her. Precinct, right after. Eloise looks around. 2 officers file reports. The other is on the phone. One of the criminals study her. The officer snaps his fingers. We see a hand on her shoulder. She turns to face a rookie officer, Brandon, 30s, dark and tattooed.
There is no place for a girl.
Are you going to tell Heloise?
He considers her for a moment.
Friends keep each other's secrets.
He pinky swears.
I need to report a crime.
Frank's office, later. Eloise eyes the shelf, admires the pictures as Frank watches.
What was her name?
Bella.
She considers him for a moment.
You still miss her?
He considers her for a moment.
Every day.
She glimpses at the wedding band. It's on a different finger.
Did she deserve it?
He walks to his desk.
She sacrificed our daughter. That's no way. There's no way I could get past that.
She considers him for a moment.
What do you do?
I need you to kill my uncle.
You don't know what you're asking. Once it's out there, you can't take it back.
I don't want to take it back.
She's dead serious.
I'm not a vigilante.
She's confused.
You kill people. You said it yourself.
Necessary evil.
She considers him for a moment.
Is evil ever necessary?
He considers her for a moment. Parking lot, dark. An array of parked police cars. Among them is a black, unmarked Mustang. Tinted windows. Close to the far end. It sticks out like a sore thumb. The headlights switch on. Eloise and Frank enter the parking lot. Get in the opposing car and drive off. Tires screech as the Mustang pulls out of the lot. Car traveling. Frank focuses on the road. Eloise checks the wing mirror. A car is behind them, but it's not the Mustang. She returns to the road. He checks his mirror. Nothing suspicious.
The parish has eyes everywhere.
She pauses.
I've never ran away from home before.
First time for everything.
She fidgets, a nervous condition. He touches her hand.
Nothing's going to happen to you.
It already has.
He considers her for a moment.
I'm not going anywhere.
She smiles. Fantasy. Christian is sitting next to her.
Me neither. Me either. Sorry.
He holds her hand. She lays her head on his shoulder. Frank glimpses at her left hand. It's just dangling. Weird. Exam room. Later. The room is cold and sterile. Eloise slowly undresses. The nurse examiner puts the clothes in a bag, snaps photos of her. She fidgets. Turn around. Oh, never mind.
No, go ahead and read it because.
Okay. Turn
Okay.
around. Her body freezes in place. She swallows. Frank mouths the words, "It's okay." She turns around. Lashes are all over her back, big enough for a belt. Frank stares. He really feels for her. The nurse examiner snaps more photos, including the symbol on her arm. Who did this to you? She considers her for a moment.
The boogeyman.
Frank studies the symbol.
You'll never tell.
Frank turns to look at her. Bella is standing next to him.
It's against the rules.
Kilbourne House, right after. Logan is getting arrested. Haskell watches.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be held against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you do not have one, one will be appointed to you. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Logan considers him for a moment, but says nothing. Haskell scans the room, sees the upstairs bedroom. The door is open. He thinks about leaving it alone, but his curiosity gets the better of him.
Stay with him. He goes upstairs, sees the deadbolt. Oh, I'm sorry. Stay with him. I'm trying to narrate everything.
He goes upstairs, sees the deadbolt, enters. Eloise's bedroom. Dreary. It looks more like a detention center than a little girl's room. He sees the markings, shakes his head. Some appear to be scriptures, the rest are ramblings. We zoom in on the words human sacrifice, then bloodlines, then the age of evolution. Then the true believers are born to survive while the rest are born to suffer. Then the chosen ones are marked to bring an end to everything before there can be a beginning. The second to last, the righteous shall rid the world of evil. The very last, followers of Christ shall dwell in the new world forever. The world spins around him. Exam room, later. Frank ties the back of the hospital gown while the nurse examiner gathers up the rest of the DNA and seals it.
Now you see why.
The nurse examiner overhears.
When can I go home?
Why would you want to go back? The nurse examiner considers her for a moment.
My mother needs me.
They share knowing looks. Hospital right after. The rookie approaches the receptionist.
I'm looking for my niece.
He strums his fingers across the counter and studies her. She clears her throat. Signals for him to stop, but he continues. She narrows her eyes, and finally he stops.
She ran away from home. I got an anonymous tip she came here. Just want to know if she's okay. Besides, my sister-in-law, she's all I have left.
A glint in his eyes. She finally meets his gaze. Worry is in his eyes. There's a quilt tattoo close to his neck. Hospital room right after. Frank and the nurse walk out. Haskell observes their conversation. She's tough. I'm surprised she hasn't gone crazy yet.
Give her time.
Frank ignores him.
When will the DNA results come back?
Within a week, Frank looks at Eloise through the window, transfixed. It gets easier. He considers her for a moment.
What the hell does that mean?
They don't want to be helped. It's best to just keep your head down.
Your slip is showing.
She considers him for a moment. It is what it is.
I feel sorry for you.
She's unfazed. I'll be in touch. They watch her leave. Frank returns to the window. The rookie eavesdrops.
I thought you wanted to move on with your life. What about your son? He can't stay with me forever. I'm running out of excuses.
Haskell pauses.
This girl is going to take you down the rabbit hole. She's not your problem.
Frank considers him for a moment.
Why do you care what happens to her?
Frank ignores him, turns to the window.
What do you know about her?
Haskell considers him for a moment.
Just her name.
I get it. If I was looking for redemption, I'd be right behind you. She's not Bella. She's not your family.
Bella wants me to help her.
Haskell considers him for a moment. You're crazy.
Bella's dead.
Frank is unfazed.
You saw the light go out of her eyes. You saw her body. We buried her.
She's still here. We have unfinished business.
Haskell takes a step back.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Frank considers him for a moment.
You don't believe in anything.
Hospital room, right after. Eloise sits on the cold, sterile table, still fidgets. She looks out of place and out of her element.
She wouldn't let me keep my clothes.
You can borrow Bella's.
She considers him for a moment.
Do you still talk to her?
Is that you?
No. I can be her if you want.
He considers her for a moment.
We'll figure it out together.
Frank reaches for her hand. Eloise meets him halfway. She watches his fingers intertwine with hers. She feels safe with him. Hospital, continuous. They walk down the hallway, hand in hand. We see the rookie watching like a hawk. As they go through the sliding doors, Eloise glances back at the rookie. Frank's house, living room, night. Eloise looks around. It appears to be a family home without all the trappings. It feels more comfortable than the one she grew up in. He drops the key on the end table. She walks around, taking mental notes along the way while he pulls a Heineken out of the refrigerator. A picture frame adorns the wall. It's of Frank and a young Latina, not much younger than him. She admires it, marvels even, studies it like an oil painting. Frank holds her from behind. His hands overlap hers. They're cradling something, their unborn child.
Is this Bella?
He glimpses at the picture and takes a swig.
Yeah, and our twins.
She considers him for a moment. She doesn't understand.
A girl and a boy.
Surrogates can't have kids of their own.
He rubs his chin, flinches his head back slightly. What does that mean?
It's against the rules.
Another swig. He turns away to gather his thoughts.
Want something to eat?
He enters the kitchen. She follows him around like a lost puppy. He opens the freezer. Nothing in it but dairy-free ice cream and frozen meals.
We got TV dinners.
She looks at it with a little enthusiasm. He opens the refrigerator.
And my famous lasagna.
She stares at it, clearly making her choice.
Lasagna it is.
He gives her the plates and silverware. She enters the dining room and sets the table. We see Bella standing next to her, studying her. Bella touches her hand. Eloise stops cold. She feels something, but shrugs it off. Dining room, later. They sit at the dinner table. As she starts to eat, he grabs her hand. She freezes, dumbfounded. He bows his head.
Heavenly Father, thank you for food, for fellowship, and new beginnings. Amen.
Amen.
They dig in.
Good, huh?
It's better with meat.
Vegans don't eat meat.
She considers him for a moment.
Eat or be eaten. Heloise says that's the circle of life.
Is that why you're her namesake? So you can be more like her?
Silence.
The parish named me. She calls me her successor. I was born a savior. Heloise was born to serve.
He stares at the symbol. It looks sadistic. She covers it up.
She's good to me.
He considers her for a moment.
What's good to you isn't always good for you. 13 is an important age. You need to know who you can trust.
I can trust her.
Can you?
She considers him for a moment. Victorian house, right after. Pretty plain, like a museum. Picture frames on the wall. 5 or more generations of women and their offspring. Starting with the first Elena Parish, the third row, the present Elena Parish and her late husband. She looks 20 years younger. The last one is a family portrait. The parish, her husband, and all their children. All girls, just like the last family portrait. The kid on the right bears a strong resemblance to Heloise. On the far left is someone who doesn't belong, a teenage boy. He looks out of place, an outsider. Ring, ring. It keeps ringing and ringing until
You've reached the parish household. I'm not able to take your call, so leave a message at the sound of the beep, and I'll get back to you when humanly possible.
beep.
And then, but Medea's in Burkhead, 2787 Lakewood. I'll await further. You're right. The less Eloise knows, the better.
Click. Heloise plays back the message, deletes it, enters. Elena's bedroom, continuous. She studies the crucifix on the wall, pushes back the sheets, and gets in bed.
Okay. Last one.
All right. Let's see. Episode All Saints, episode 4, by Ray Brown. Bella's bedroom, later. Plush room, stuffed animals adorn the twin-size bed. Vanity mirror. Photographs of her on the dresser. Nothing is out of place, almost as if he expects her to come back, or he's waiting for someone. Eloise looks at the photos, picks up the last one, sees a glimpse of herself in the distance.
How come I don't remember? How come I don't remember her? How old was she?
16.
She sits on the bed, eyes the teddy bear. Frank watches her reach for it as she holds it close. Frank turns to leave.
Will you stay with me until I fall asleep?
He stalls.
I don't want to be alone.
You're not alone.
He sees Bella sitting next to her eyes burning into her. Later, Eloise is sound asleep. He brushes the stray hair away from her face, gives her a forehead kiss. He cracks the door, turns out the light. After a beat, she opens her eyes. Fantasy. A shadowy figure towers over Eloise. It's a shadow of a woman. She tilts her head. Her heart pounds in her ears. Back to scene. The figure is gone. The world spins around her. Victorian house. Parish's bedroom. Day. Crucifix on the wall. Dried up blood on the carpet. Heloise opens her eyes, then turns her head. Fantasy. An old woman is laying next to her. The woman frowns.
Tasha?
Oh, am I doing the woman?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What did you do?
Eloise considers her for a moment.
What mother wanted.
She gives her a resting bitch face.
Who are you to play God?
Eloise half smiles.
Oh, ye of little faith.
You will be dealt with.
The last shall be first, and the first shall be last.
The woman catches a glimpse of herself in her eyes.
What about my grandchild?
Eloise considers her for a moment.
She'll do what she's told. They always do.
Back to scene. The woman is gone. An urn is on the other side of the bed. There's writing on it. It says, Elena Parrish, VII.
What, the 6, I think?
7.
6 or 7.
7? I was going to say I'm rusty on my
7.
numerals. Frank's house, bathroom, day. The shower is running, clothes on the floor. Frank stands under the shower head as the water washes over him. He lowers his head. Fantasy. A young Latina is standing under the shower head. Frank watches as the water washes over her. She stares into space, appears to be deep in thought. Sadness is in her eyes as she strokes her baby bump. Frank turns to her and turns her around, kisses her, and kisses the baby bump.
I love you always, Isabella. This will be good for us. You'll see.
She caresses his face. Their foreheads touch. Back to scene. He stares into space. Bang. The sound is deafening. It rings in his ears. Water runs down the drain. Fantasy. A stream of blood runs down the drain. Blood is on his hand.
I'm sorry. I had no choice. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Old church. Day. Heloise is in a white cassock. Is in the middle of communion. People are lined up like sheep. One by one, she puts the wafer on their tongues. The rookie watches, approaches the line, gives her a white, hot stare, nostrils flaring. He glances at the members behind him, unclenches his jaw. He accepts the wafer. Sacris. I can never get that one.
That's right.
Later, Heloise removes the cassock, hangs it up. The rookie studies her like a science experiment.
You haven't been called. Nothing more than a false prophet.
She smirks.
I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of difficulty. I keep hearing some background noise and it really disturbing my mind space. Like the frequency, it's messing with my brain while trying to keep focused. I'm sorry, guys. I just have to be honest. It's consistent.
Yes,
And
somebody's
Me too. I'm hearing it too.
it's giving me a weird ache now in my vibration right now.
Is it from me or is it from?
I'm not sure. Hearing
It
like
sounds like
a
someone's
continuous-
TV.
I don't
If
know.
we try muting when we're not speaking, that'll help a lot.
Yeah, I believe it's somebody's TV. Sounds like TV. Definitely sounds like a TV.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me mute mine, guys.
Muting mine.
Everyone good?
Oh, thank you. All right. Yes, thank you. All right. You can cue me back again, please. Sorry, once more.
Let's see. We left off at Brandon's part.
I'll just start where you haven't been called. You're nothing more than a false prophet.
She smirks.
They don't seem to mind.
He considers her for a moment.
They care about the cause, not the symptom.
She looks right through him.
Go home to your family, Brandon.
He furrows his brow.
This is my family.
Your blood doesn't run through my veins anymore than mine does in yours.
I came to find
Maybe she doesn't want to be found.
What's that supposed to mean?
The corners of her mouth slowly form a smile.
She's getting older, almost extinct. She can't lead forever. I'm the only one who can.
Bedroom, later. There are no photos on his wall, no keepsakes of his wife. Frank studies his reflection, buttons up his shirt. He feels someone is watching, sees Eloise standing in the doorway, surveys her outfit.
You don't like it.
Her eyes beg for approval.
No, you look good. More like yourself, instead of another religious robot.
He returns to the mirror.
What happened to Isabella wasn't the parish's fault.
I'm not the only one with blood on my hands.
She considers him for a moment.
You hate her.
With good reason. You should too. You deserve better.
She gave me Heloise.
He considers her for a moment.
She's poison.
I don't know who I am without her.
He feels for her.
Bella said the same thing. Bella?
Bella might be muted.
Now you know why.
He turns his head to see Bella observing them.
When did you and Isabella meet?
Community center, day. We see the same group seated in a circle, but this time it's Frank's turn to share. He addresses the circle.
I don't remember.
In the far right, Eloise is listening intently. Scott considers him for a moment.
I thought she was the love of your life. No one forgets the day their life changed.
Scott pauses.
Unless you don't want to remember, what's holding you back?
I want to forget.
He pauses.
I didn't expect to be alone.
Well, family is subjective.
Janetta considers him for a moment.
Why do you want to forget?
The guilt.
From what you've told me, she died from an illness. You had nothing to do with it.
That's not entirely true. I killed her.
Everyone is quiet. You can hear a pin drop.
She was in a cult. They ordered her to sacrifice our daughter. I'm a police officer, but in that moment, I was a broken man. I never even visited her grave.
He pauses.
If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing.
Restaurant, right after. Eloise shoves a fork full of food in her mouth. Frank watches, adoration in his eyes. The waitress approaches, refills his coffee. The waitress winks at her. Eloise studies her. Her eyes are kind. The corners of Eloise's mouth slowly form a smile. She returns to the food. As she walks away, she puts her hand on his shoulder. He's still unfazed. Sips his coffee, immune even.
What do you want to do today?
She swishes the food back and forth with her fork.
We can go anywhere you want.
I've never been outside of those four walls. I wouldn't know where to begin.
Frank considers her for a moment.
You deserve to live the life you want.
Eloise considers him for a moment.
We all do.
I want to go to the cemetery.
My bad.
Frank's house, right after. Dark. Eloise turns on the lights, then looks around. She eyes the picture of him and Isabella picks it up. She walks to the hallway. The door to Bella's bedroom is open. She enters. Bella's bedroom, continuous. She surveys the room, eyes the spot photos of Bella. As she zooms in, she sees Eloise. in all of them, sitting idly by. She narrows her eyes. On the other side of the room, Bella studies her. Cemetery, right after. Frank and Eloise stroll through the grounds. Eloise eyes the different headstones as they approach the headstone. A teenage boy runs up to Frank, embraces. They see Haskell. He smiles, eyes Eloise, lips pressed tight.
It's about time you came to pay your respects.
He considers Eloise for a moment.
Don't you have somewhere to be? This is a family affair.
She is family.
Haskell considers him for a moment.
Since when?
All you need to know is she's a part of this too.
Haskell shakes his head. Eloise stares at her reflection in its polished surface as she silently reads the markings. The teenage boy keeps his eyes on her. Haskell pulls him aside.
You don't know what you're getting yourself into. I know you think you can save the world, but you're not a kid anymore.
He pauses.
This girl is broken. She can't be fixed. It's too late for her.
An old photo of Isabella holding Elias in her arms is next to a black rose. Eloise looks closely at the smile. It's fake. Eloise touches the boy's shoulder.
My condolences.
You'll never understand, and I don't have time to sit you down and explain it to you.
I'm your friend, asshole.
Do you ever believe in someone other than yourself? Someone other? Yeah, I think that is missing. You ever believe in someone other yourself? Yeah, that is missing right there, guys.
Yeah, you.
Eloise watches Haskell and the boy walk away. Eloise considers him for a moment.
Was this a mistake?
No.
He studies the headstone, touches it.
Hola, mi amor.
He pauses.
¿Cómo se dice heaven en español? ¿Are?
Just say it in English. I didn't edit it. I didn't take that out.
All right. Okay. And save a spot for me. I'll see you soon. I love you forever, Isabella.
Jail cell. Later. Blood in the toilet. Logan continues to puke and flushes the toilet. He eyes the rookie as he slides the tray underneath the cell. Eyes the student. Logan and Frank trade looks.
So much for my turn down service.
He watches Frank approach the bars.
How's Ellie? Does she miss me?
Frank comes closer.
Do you really think you can save her from herself? What is she to you?
He pauses.
Heloise will never let her go. She's too important.
He coughs. Keeps coughing. It sounds more sickly by the minute. He covers his mouth.
I'm dying.
Did Brennan sleep off? Brandon?
Gordon?
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
We're all dying.
Logan looks through him.
I have cancer, moron. It doesn't matter.
There's cult tattoo on his wrist. Frank considers him for a moment.
You can't stop us. You can't stop it. You're just a watcher.
Frank's house, right after. Eloise sits on the floor while Heloise braids her hair. She whispers in her ear. Eloise widens her eyes. She hangs on her every word. Restaurant, day. Frank sits opposite the district attorney, watches as he shoves a forkful of food in his mouth. He waits for him to finish chewing.
Say that again.
The DNA results are inconclusive. You have no case, even if I wanted to continue with this.
Frank considers him for a moment.
What about the bruises?
The world is a dangerous place.
He sexually and physically abused her every day for 12 years.
The district considers him for a moment.
Did you see him do it?
Frank pauses.
Her surrogate.
The district attorney reads his face, wets his mouth.
I don't even want to begin to know what that means.
Frank considers him for a moment.
I can't help you.
Frank shakes his head.
You can't save the world.
Not the world, just her.
The district attorney considers him for a moment.
You've done more for her than most, but she's not your responsibility. Be thankful your son is still alive.
Frank gives him a dazed look, considers him for a moment. What's that supposed to mean?
Don't make the same mistake. You won't win, and you're all out of favors.
What about her soul?
You're not in the soul business. That's why they have gods.
DA gets up, counts the money, slaps it on the table. A tattoo of some kind is on his hand, a symbol. It looks different from the rest, more distinct, unique even. Frank watches him walk away. Frank's house, later. Frank enters, sets the keys on Chinese food on the table. It's quiet, too quiet, calm even. It's still light. He looks around. No Eloise. He enters. Bella's bedroom continues. He sees her sleeping. He wants to breathe a sigh of release, but gets this creepy vibe he can't shake. Eloise lays beside her. Eloise clings to her like a security blanket, lays on her chest while Eloise strokes her hair. Frank can't help but to watch. It's ominous and endearing at the same time. He enters the dining room, continuous. He removes food from the bag. Eloise enters. He watches her every move. They stare each other down.
I can tell you care about her.
Someone should. What is it to you? What is she to you?
The end of everything.
What does that mean?
A new world.
The parish's daughter is not pure enough.
He considers her for a moment.
The child has to be related by blood. You should know that by now.
Did Isabella know?
She considers him for a moment.
Who do you think chose her?
Mother still alive?
She ignores him.
Ellie belongs to God.
You have no idea what that is.
Her eyes stare into his soul.
She was created for this, just like the others.
She glimpses at the portrait of him and Bella.
Nothing you do or say will absolve you of your guilt. What's meant to be will be. You should be thankful your son is still alive.
He considers her for a moment. That damn saying again. She's unfazed.
If Isabella wasn't a part of this, would you still care what happens to her?
I'll do whatever I have to do to protect her.
Eloise eavesdrops. Precinct, jail cell, day. Logan is sprawled out on the cot, staring blankly at the ceiling, hands cupping his head. Sunlight beams off his face. He sees his stoic expression. We see his stoic expression. The sound of Heloise's heels click and clack in the distance. He stands up to face her. She eyes the dried blood on the bars, then him. He looks peak. I can't read that, I don't know why. He wipes off his mouth as if he had another puking session.
I need a moment alone.
The rookie obeys.
It's almost time.
She closes in.
Shall I pray for your soul?
He chuckles.
I'm already dead.
There's a look in his eyes, weird, even empty. The courthouse later. Frank and Eloise are getting married. Eloise, Logan, and Haskell are witnesses. Haskell looks disappointed. The red pill it is. Oh, who wants to be the judge?
We are here today to celebrate the love that Heloise and Frank have for each other and to recognize and witness their decision to journey forward in their lives as husband and wife.
Eloise looks up at them. She doesn't know how to feel.
While you are two separate individuals, you walk along one path together. Your every gesture, word, expression, and action, and those you withhold or omit will determine the quality of your experience together. It is through loving, kindness, caring, and sharing that a successful marriage journey is created. A good love marriage takes patience, dedication, humor, and forgiveness. You keep your love alive through the choices you make moment by moment, day after day, and year after year. Through practice, you learn how to love yourselves and each other with devotion and freedom.
Heloise, Heloise and Frank share knowing looks.
Do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold, in sickness and in health, in good times and woe, for richer or poorer, keeping yourself unto her for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
The judge looks at Heloise.
Do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold, in sickness and in health, in good times and woe, for richer or poorer, keeping yourself unto him for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
They exchange the rings.
By the authority vested in me, by the state of Florida, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride.
Frank kisses her on the cheek.
Mwah.
Logan.
Logan?
Okay.
Greg.
Greg,
Where Logan at?
Welcome to the family.
Logan smirks. He approaches Haskell.
I didn't think you'd agree to be my best man.
And miss this shit show?
Elias looks at Eloise. There's a sweet innocence about her. He sees something in her eyes. It's pain. But not only that, he glimpses at something disturbing, dark even. Old church, later. It's packed with cult members. Heloise, in a clergy robe, stands at the altar. The members are lined up, men, women, and children from all walks of life. Among them are Eloise and Frank. They eye Frank, then his badge. Frank feels uneasy. Eloise notices and takes his hand. The line gets smaller. He watches Heloise tower over them like a god. Frank and Eloise are last. She steps forward.
The body of Krista.
Eloise swallows it. As Frank steps forward, the members watch him closely.
The body of Krista.
He hesitates for a beat, then swallows it.
Do you submit yourself to God?
Old church, lower level. Eloise, Logan, the rookie, and a few members are gathered around him. His eyes go around the room, then settle on Eloise.
Yes.
Do you believe you are in the mother and the mother is in you?
Yes.
Eloise signals Eloise to light the poker. She takes her arm and forces her to singe his skin. Eloise stares at the brand, eyes glassy. She's still, frozen. Tears fall from her eyes. A small puddle forms at her feet.
Eloise.
No response.
Eloise.
He shakes her. She snaps back to reality.
What did you see?
Office day. Eloise recalls her dream. Frank is there for emotional support.
Blood.
Whose blood?
Fantasy. We're in the Kilborn house, in a separate room. It's dimly lit. There's an indoor swimming pool. Eloise eyes a man floating in the water, on the water. She gets a closer look. It's Logan. His blood envelops the pool.
My uncle's.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Eloise approaches.
Almost poetic when you think about it. He wanted his life to mean something. Now it does. His sacrifice is our victory.
She considers her for a moment.
You killed him.
Eloise smirks.
You did.
Eloise looks down. A serrated knife is in her hand. The blood from it is still fresh.
You should be proud.
She drops the knife.
There's just one more thing.
She considers her for a moment.
What?
Eloise pushes her in the pool. Eloise slowly descends, deeper and deeper. She panics. Eloise is unfazed, comes closer to the edge. After a beat, Eloise ascends from the pool. Her eyes are cold, dark, and menacing.
Rebirth.
The end.
That was fun.
We did it. Oh.
Yep, we made it to the end.
Yeah. Even though there were typos that I overlooked, it was good.
It wasn't that bad. There weren't that many typos.
Wasn't it all? You did
Oh,
well.
thank you.
Yeah, good job. Excellent job.
Interesting script. I love
Thank
it.
you. So what do you, so feedback, what do y'all think? Do I need to take something out or what do y'all?
It's fine to me.
I think it's interesting. It kind of reminds me of like a few books that I've read. I like it. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
very
a
different. I like
it's like
it.
a mix of a. Go ahead.
It's dark.
I was gonna say.
It's pretty dark, yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna say it's kind of like a mix between like a murder mystery and a nice little blood fantasy that
Yeah.
she kind of
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Really
I was
yeah.
entertained while I was working.
Very different. Very different.
And I like the idea that God being a woman. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I like it too.
I was like, yep.
And
Maybe God is a woman.
Never know,
This-
yeah.
I'm not-
Never know. Never know. I like the concept. So.
Right. Well, is there anything I need to change or any criticism y'all have for me?
I don't have any.
I don't have any.
Not really. I mean,
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're the artist, so I mean this is your baby, so you do you.
Yeah.
How old is Eloise
Okay.
again in this revised script array? I'm trying to remember.
Eloise is I made her 14. She was 13 at first, but
Right.
I made her 14.
Yeah, I like that. The age got adjusted a little bit. Like in the previous script, I'm like, oh
I
my
know.
God, this is really a little girl. And Frank is like so into this little girl. Like,
I know it's like Frank's getting a little touchy there, kind of.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you think the wedding scene was weird? You know, Frank getting married to Heloise, even though he's trying to protect, even though he wants to, you know, save Eloise. Do you think it's weird?
No, I love the shit show. Hey.
It was a fine shit show. It was a lovely shit show. Both of them were happy. No, that was
I like that Haskell kind of provides some comic relief every now and then in the script, especially like the way he speaks to Frank sometimes, like, you know, yeah, you asshole, like, you know, that kind of thing, you know, I like it. You know, I mean, so it has that balance, that emotional balance throughout the narrative, I believe.
Oh, thank you.
It's not too dark, it's not too this, not too, yeah.
I'd give Haskell a little bit more than comedy-wise, since you said that. You know, make him kind of like, not like too much of it, but add a little bit more, you know, sarcasm, or, you know, comedic sarcasm to Haskell. So, because she brought up a great point, Haskell could be that character that, you know, can be the comic relief a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see more about Bella, though. Like, how did she die? Why did she die? When did she die? Where? What happened? Why did her mom choose her? Like, how did that come about? Like, why would you choose your own child to sacrifice? Like, that's pretty weird. So I'm interested to see Bella's story.
Well, yeah, it is really weird because with every generation of this cult, they have like their own children, like they repopulating the earth, so to speak. So
right.
Like
so why would you kill your own lineage? It just.
Okay, it wasn't Bella. It was they had another child. There was blood, right? They had like Isabella had a baby, and Bella wasn't really hers. So she had to kill her firstborn. Her firstborn wasn't Bella. It was
a cult loophole. Look at that.
Wow.
What do you know?
A cult loophole. It's not the real child, not the real blood. There's your loophole. So
because the rules was okay. She broke the rules because she wasn't barren. She lied, so she had to sacrifice her real blood daughter.
Oh,
wow.
We need to see that. Well, we have to see that.
Oh yeah.
That's episode 5, girlfriend.
Yeah, episode 5. Yeah, you gotta do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's where we'll see more of the blood and guts, right? We'll see more of the, you know, the freaky deaky blood freaking out stuff out, right?
Yeah. But this was fun. I enjoyed this.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm bidding y'all good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. I gotta go.
Okay, Bella.
Nice meeting everyone.
We did it, guys.
Thank you,
Good night.
Thank you.
You guys have a great night.
Yes. Peace
Y'all
and
be blessed.
blessings, love and light, everyone.
Hello.
Take care.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Ray.
Bye.
Peace out.
Bye. Bye.
All right, Ray. Have a good evening.
Okay. Have a good evening too, Rodney. Thank you for coming.
Thanks so much. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.